Now let us discuss about the synchronous machines. So what is the difference between a synchronous machine and an induction machine? So in induction motor, the field winding is going to be connected in the stator. The field winding is provided in the stator and the armature winding is going to be provided in the rotor. So we are going to give supply to the stationary winding, stationary stator, because the stator winding is going to be, or the field winding is going to be wound in the stator, and we always provide a three-phase supply to the stator. That means we are going to give excitation to the field winding, and this field winding is going to be connected in stator only. In case of synchronous machines, this is exactly opposite. We are going to provide the field winding in the rotor and the armature winding in the stator. That means we are going to give excitation to the field winding that present in the rotor. The rotating part, for the rotating part we are going to supply the excitation in case of synchronous machines. Let us discuss more about the synchronous machines. So the synchronous machines rotates at synchronous speed. Unlike induction motors, where the rotor always rotates less than the synchronous speed, in case of synchronous machine, the machine always rotates with synchronous speed. That means there is no slip. Here the slip S is equal to 0 in case of synchronous machines. That means the rotor also rotates with a speed of ns. Okay. The machine which produces three-phase power from mechanical power is called as an alternator or synchronous generator. So in case of synchronous machines, we are going to study only the synchronous generator as part of our syllabus. We are not going to study synchronous motor. So what is a generator? Generator basically converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. So here also the machine which produces three-phase power. Three-phase power is nothing but electrical power from mechanical power is called as synchronous generator. An alternator has three-phase winding on the stator and a DC field winding on the rotor. So as I told you earlier, alternator has three-phase winding on the stator and a DC field winding on the rotor. We are going to provide a DC supply that is going DC supply to a field winding which is going to be present on the rotor. So in case of induction motor, there is no DC supply providing to the field winding. Okay, that means here in case of synchronous machines, these machines are going to be excited by applying a DC supply to the field winding which that is provided on the rotor. They convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. Let us discuss the constructional details of synchronous machines.
An alternator is an electrical generator that converts mechanical energy to electrical energy in the form of alternating current. Electricity is produced in alternators by electromagnetic induction. There are two types to produce electricity in alternators. Type 1, rotating magnetic field with a stationary armature. Type 2, a rotating armature with a stationary magnetic field. Most alternators use a rotating magnetic field with a stationary armature. Now we are going to see the functioning of Type 1 alternator. Main parts of alternator are rotor, stator, bearing, slip ring, regulator, DC generator, pulley, outer cover. Rotor produces a rotating magnetic field. Armature coils are stationary and rotating magnetic flux associated with the rotor induces electricity in the armature coils. Kind of rotor shown here is known as salient pole rotor. For gaining better insight of its working, let's consider a rotor with just 4 poles. Rotor coils are excited with a DC power source. The rotor is made to rotate by a prime mover. This makes the rotor flux also rotate along with it, at the same speed. Such revolving magnetic flux now intersects the armature coils, which is fitted around the rotor. This will generate an alternating electromagnetic force across the winding. Since 4-pole rotor has got 2 pairs of NS pole, when the rotor turns a half revolution the induced EMF takes 1 complete cycle. So it is clear that frequency of the induced EMF is directly proportional to the number of poles and rotor speed. It can be easily established that frequency of induced EMF, rotor speed and number of poles are connected through the following relationship. It is clear from this relationship that frequency of electricity produced is synchronized with mechanical rotational speed. For producing 3-phase A.C current, 2 more such armature coils which are in 120-degree phase difference with the first is put in the stator winding. Generally one end of these 3 coils are star connected and 3-phase electricity is drawn from the other ends. Neutral cable can be drawn from the star connected end. It is clear from past equation that in order to produce 60 Hz electricity, a 4-pole rotor should run at following speed of 1800 RPM. Such huge RPM will induce a tremendous centrifugal force on poles of the rotor and it may fail mechanically over time. So salient pole rotors are generally having 10 to 40 poles, which demands lower RPM. Salient pole rotors are used when the prime mover rotates at relatively lower speed from 120 to 400 RPM. Pole core is used to effectively transfer magnetic flux, and they are made with fairly thick steel lamina. Such insulated lamina reduces energy loss due to eddy current formation. DC current is supplied to rotor, with a pair of slip rings. This is the reason why a rotating magnetic field approach is used in alternator. If rotating coil method were used, slip rings have to fit it along with the armature coils in order to collect electricity. But transferring such high voltage electricity with slip ring is rather impractical. It is quite possible to transfer low voltage DC excite current with slip rings. This DC current is supplied either from an external source or from a small DC generator which is fitted on the same prime mover. Such alternators are called self-excited. With variation of load generator, terminal output voltage will vary. It is desired to keep the terminal voltage in a specified limit. Automatic voltage regulator helps in achieving this. Voltage regulation can be easily achieved by controlling the field current. If terminal voltage is below the desired limit, regulator increases the field current. This will result with increase in terminal voltage. If terminal voltage is below the specified limit, the reverse is done.
So like any other machine, electrical rotating machine, the synchronous machines has 2 parts, which is nothing but stator and rotor. Coming to the stator, stator is always a stationary part. Okay, it is the stationary part of the machine and it is built up of steel laminations. Stator is a stationary part of the machine which contains steel laminations and are having slots on its inner periphery. If you observe the diagram here, so this stator is having a slots. These are the slots. So the slots are going to be provided, and on these slots we are going to have 3-phase winding. This for 3-phase winding we are going to provide 3-phase AC supply. So this is the 3-phase winding. For this 3-phase winding we are going to provide 3-phase AC supply. A 3-phase winding is placed in these slots and serves as the armature winding, and we are going to call this winding, this 3-phase winding, as the armature winding. So the winding which is present in the stator, is going to be called as armature winding. Unlike all other machines where the armature winding is present on the rotor, in case of synchronous machine, this armature winding is going to be provided on the stator, stationary part, and we are going to provide a 3-phase AC supply to the armature winding. the armature winding is always connected in star and the neutral is connected to the ground. So when there is a three-phase connection, three phases are involved, there are two possible connections. One is star connection, another one is delta connection. In case of the synchronous machine, this three-phase winding is always connected in star. Next, rotor. There are two types of rotor construction here. The rotor carries the field winding. So unlike all other machines where the rotor carries armature winding, in case of synchronous machine, the rotor carries a field winding which is supplied with a DC supply. So the winding that is present in the rotor is going to be called as field winding. And what is the type of supply we are going to provide to the field winding? DC supply. How we are going to provide a DC supply to a rotating winding? By means of slip rings. These slip rings are nothing but the sliding contacts. By means of these slip rings, we are going to provide a DC supply to the field winding present on the rotor. The rotor can be constructed in two ways. So the construction of rotor is of two types. The first one is the salient pole type or projecting pole type. Second one is the non-salient pole type or cylindrical rotor. So coming to the salient pole type, so this is the constructional diagram of a salient pole type. If you see here, the poles are projected. The poles are projected here like this. So here, for example, I have considered 4 poles. The poles are projected from the rotor. So these are the 4 poles. And if you observe, there is a gap between the 4 poles. That means the flux is not going to be uniformly spread between the poles. And the winding that is provided on this rotor is called as the field winding. So this winding is called as field winding, and we are going to provide DC supply to the rotor. So what are the slip rings? These two are the slip rings. These are the sliding contacts that we are going to provide, and we are going to connect an external DC source to the rotor winding or field winding by means of these two slip rings. So these are the slip rings. Why we are going to call it as salient pole? Because there is a non-uniform distribution of air gap or flux between the poles, and the poles are projecting here. That's why we are going to call it as either salient pole type or projecting pole type of the rotor. See here, salient pole or projecting poles are mounted on the large circular steel frame which is fixed to the shaft of the alternator. So this outer circle is the steel frame. For this steel frame, we are going to mount these poles. These are the projecting poles, and this steel frame is going to be fixed to the shaft of the DC motor. Okay, so shaft of the motor. This steel frame is going to be fixed to the shaft of the motor, and we are going to mount the poles to this steel frame. These are used in low and medium speed applications. Due to excessive windage losses, at higher speeds they may be subjected to mechanical stress. When you rotate this type of machine at higher speeds, the projecting poles will subject to mechanical stress, which leads to the mechanical imbalance of the machine. Next one, non-salient pole type. Unlike salient pole type, here the rotor is cylindrical in shape, and we are going to provide the uniform slots. See here, this is north pole, this is the south pole, and in between the poles also we are having the winding. That means there is a uniform flux distribution because of this cylindrical type of construction, and we are going to provide the DC supply to the winding by means of slip rings here. So in this type, the rotor is made up of smooth solid forged steel radial cylinder. So here the rotor is made up of a smooth solid forged steel, and what is the shape here? Cylindrical shape, and having a number of slots along the outer periphery. We are having the uniform number of slots that are going to be present in the outer periphery. See, this is the outer periphery. The field windings are embedded in these slots and are connected in series to the slip rings, where we are going to provide the DC supply. Just like the connection in the salient pole type, in the case of non-salient poles also, the field winding is connected in series, and that series connection is going to be provided DC supply by means of these slip rings. These are used in high speed alternators because it is cylindrical in shape and there are uniform distribution of flux, there is no mechanical stress existing between the conductors. That's why we can use the cylindrical rotor type construction rotors in high speeds. So that's all about alternators. Thank you very much.